Hey boys and girls,
let's introduce ourselves.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Penny.
Today we will be showing you stories written by our friends here at WWWW.
First we have Everett with werewolves,
Daniel with saber-toothed tigers,
Ruby with Rainforest,
Matthew with Super Mario,
Jameson with Peyton Pritchard,
Maddie with the Maldives,
Jessica with gymnastics,
and lastly Penny with turtles.
Hey Jessica, I have a riddle for you.
What's up?
What changes by full moon but is probably still scary either way?
Ooh, I know, a werewolf.
Correct.
Speaking of werewolves, we have a story of a witch. Heading over to you, Everett.
Thanks, Jessica. Did you know that a werewolf is a mythical creature? It is a human who turns into a terrifying wolf-like creature. Some stories say that werewolves change from man to beast only when there is a full moon. Many people love werewolves. This is because werewolves are a symbol of fear and hope. The symbol of hope symbolizes help. Werewolves are known as the strongest creature that ever lived. There are several theories on how a person can turn into a werewolf. One theory is that if a werewolf bites a person, that person may turn into a werewolf. Second theory says that to become a werewolf, you can put on a belt made of wolf skin. Also, wearing an entire animal skin can turn you into a werewolf. Another theory is that if you rub your body with a magic ointment, you will turn into a werewolf. Finally, drinking rainwater out of the footprint of the animal could work too. Warning, do not try this at home. You may wonder why werewolves are so popular. Werewolves continue to pop up in movies and fiction in the early 2000s. For example, the popular Twilight Sage books and movies have a conflict between werewolves and vampires. Also, the werewolves are famous in the game of Dungeons and Dragons. Real or fake? You decide. Back to you in the studio.
I'm not going anywhere near a werewolf for a long time.
I'm not going near anyone for a long time.
What do you mean?
Anybody could be a werewolf.
Penny!
Oh, sorry, I was dreaming about saber-toothed tigers.
Daniel, tell us about saber-toothed tigers.
Thanks, Jessica. Saber-toothed tigers went extinct because humans kept hunting them, and at the time climate change was occurring. Did you know that saber-toothed tigers is another name for saber-toothed cats and saber-toothed lions? But we'll stick to saber-toothed tigers. According to Britannica.com, saber-toothed tigers usually were around North America and Europe throughout the Miocene and Pliocene epochs, 23 million to 2.6 million years ago. The extinction pattern of the last couple saber-toothed tigers closely followed that of the mastodons. As those elephant-like creatures became extinct in the Old World during the late Pliocene, saber-toothed tigers closely died out closely after. In North America and South America, however, where mastodons persisted throughout the Pleistocene, saber-toothed tigers successfully to the end of the epoch. Britannica.com defines extinction as the dying out or extermination of a species. Extinction occurs when species are diminished because of environmental forces such as habitat fragmentation, overexploitation by humans, and pollution, or because of evolutionary changes in their members, poor reproduction, decline in population numbers. Who knew saber-toothed tigers' backstories were both sad and fascinating at the same time? Saber-toothed tigers is a large, short-limbed cat, and its upper canine teeth are long, flat, and dagger-like. They are larger than a lion and about the size of a Siberian tiger. They always seem to be wrapped up in a relatively plain, dun-colored coat, making them look like a lion with abnormally long canines. Saber-toothed tigers are a very cool subject, and it's fascinating. Now back to you guys in the studio.
I'm never sleeping again.
Me either. I wonder if they would be able to survive in a rainforest.
Oh, rainforest. Take it over, Ruby. I have no clue what I'm talking about.
Thanks, Penny. The Amazon rainforest is home to many types of species. Did you know you can only find dead-leaf mantises in southern Asian rainforests? Dead-leaf mantises eat live bugs. Gross, right? Now on to one of the big cats, jaguars. Jaguars are the third biggest cats before tigers and lions. And jaguars are more the chunky side. Jaguars eat capybaras, armadillos, fish, and many more other animals. Tarantulas have a poisonous bite, but tarantulas never really bite humans, unless they feel threatened. In reality, they are shy animals. People are scared of them because of their size, hairy legs, and just because they look gross. The Goliath bird-eater tarantulas are the largest species of spider on the planet. measuring up to 25 centimeters across, including their legs. Like most spiders, even though they have 8 eyes, they have poor eyesight. The numerous hairs on their body help the tarantula see because their hair moves to small movements. Tarantula's hairs are very sticky, which makes them good climbers, and when a tarantula loses a leg, it grows back. Tarantulas live in many parts of the world, except Antarctica. Tarantulas only really live in warm climates, like most spiders. Tarantulas also eat larger prey, such as lizards and mice. The capybara that live in the Amazon rainforest are the biggest rodent in the world, weighing 91 kilograms, 200 pounds, and they can be 3.3 feet to 4.3 feet. Capybara live 4 to 10 years long. Capybaras are great swimmers, and they're also very agile on land, running up to 35 kilometers and swimming up to 8 kilometers. Capybaras live in groups 2 to 30 with capybaras with one dominant breeding male. Capybaras are herbivores, and they eat the vegetation that lines water and other aquatic plants. Capybaras are found in Peru, Panama, Paraguay, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Brazil, and North and Central South America. A small invasive amount have been seen in Florida, northeast Argentina, and Uruguay. Capybaras are semi-aquatic animals, which means that they spend most of their time in dense vegetation around marshes, rivers, lakes, ponds, and swamps. The rainforests are fascinating places. You never know what you might find living in these precious environments. Back to you in the studio.
Penny!
Huh? What?
You have to do the intro.
Oh, right. Capybara.
Wait, what?
There are capybaras in there. I'm trying to be cool, Jessica.
That's not cool, that's just weird.
You know what else is weird?
What?
The fact that the most popular video game on the face of the planet is based on a cartoon character that's a plumber.
I don't think I know the one. Can you teach me?
I can't, but my friend Matthew can. Heading over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Penny. Mario is one of the several amazing video game characters created by Nintendo and Atari. Shigeru Miyamoto, a Japanese man, came up with the idea of the Italian plumber. Mario is one of the older video games made in 1981 and has grown a lot over the years as a popular video game franchise. The first Mario game was Donkey Kong. The first game with Mario in the title is Mario Bros. The game has many power-ups such as the mushroom and fire flower, but there are a lot of enemies like Bowser, the final boss, who is an amazing end battle. His minions like the Goomba and Koopa Troopa are extremely creative enemies to give Mario an original vibe to the game. His theme song is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. This franchise is full of interesting side characters. His brother Luigi has a big game chain called Luigi's Mansion that has 3 games with that title. In those games you can enjoy a creepy side of the franchise. His friendly dinosaur companion Yoshi is an amazing side character who has a couple games named after him as well. Different styles of Mario are interesting. Paper Mario is a good Mario game chain. 8-bit Mario is featured in the first game, Donkey Kong, but you can't overlook Mario Kart, which is Mario's racing game chain that's super popular too. Mario Kaizo features extremely hard levels that you need a ton of skill to complete. One Mario Easter egg is if you look up Mario on the computer, you get a question block that if you click on it, you get a coin. But if you click it 100 times, you get a 1-up sound. Mario is so popular that there's a movie called The Super Mario Bros. That came out in April. Mario is voiced by actor Chris Pratt. Mario is trying to save Luigi and stop Bowser from taking over the world. The character Mario has been around for generations of gamers and doesn't seem to be slowing down. Back to you in the studio.
I'm gonna go home and play Super Mario now.
No?
Why not?
Because we have more stories.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to go home.
Why?
Because the Boston Celtics are on.
Oh, speaking of which, here's a story about a player on the Celtics.
Thanks, Penny. Do you like the Boston Celtics? If so, you might know a player named Payne Pritchard. On January 28, 1998, in Thornton, Oregon, Payton was born. He went to Westland High School in Oregon, where he won 4 state titles. In his previous years, he wore number 3, but since number 3 is retired, he decided to switch to number 11. In 2015, he was the Gatorade Oregon Player of the Year. He also went to college in Oregon. As a freshman in Oregon, he started 35 out of 39 games his freshman year. He averaged 7.4 points per game and 3.6 assists. In his sophomore year, his stats increased to 14.5 points and 4.8 assists. He also was the first Pac-12 player in history to get 1,900 career points and 500 career rebounds and 6,000 steals. With a 3.61 GPA, he was a hard-working student athlete. He is 6 feet 1 inch and weighs 195 pounds. In 2020, Payton was picked first round 26th pick by the Boston Celtics. He has 2 years of experience in the NBA. He is a perfect example of hard work paying off. This is why I love Payton Pritchard. Back to you in the studio.
I'm sure my brother would love this story. When I get home, I'm going to show him it.
Again, you can't go home yet.
Wait, that was the last story, right?
No.
What? I have a trip to the Maldives planned.
Well, actually, we have a story about the Maldives.
Ugh, fine, next story.
Thanks, Jessica. The Maldives is located in South Asia in the Indian Ocean. The Maldives is about 750 kilometers from Asia's mainland and is the flattest country in the world. People in the Maldives eat a mixture of Arabic, Indian, and Sri Lankan, so if you like spicy food, then it's a good place to visit. The culture in the Maldives is very fascinating. The national animal is the yellowfin tuna, which has 4 fins, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. It is a very unique animal with shimmery golden colors. The national flower is the pink rose and the national tree is the coconut palm. The Maldives are most known for their tourism. There are beaches called coralline beaches, and only 5% of the world has unique beaches like these because most of them are quartz beaches or sandy beaches. The most talked about features are the clear waters, beaches that go for miles, and the luxurious little huts over the water. The Maldives was founded on July 26, 1965. The first settlers were believed to be Tamil and Sinhalese, people from southern India and Sri Lanka. Less than a fifth of the Maldives is inhabited. Okay, that's all for the Maldives. Back to you in the studio.
Ooh, spicy. Wait, I don't even like spicy food.
Oh?
Why am I even going?
I don't know. Why are you?
You're right. Oh, I have a gymnastics tournament.
Speaking of gymnastics,
We have a story about gymnastics.
take it over, Jessica.
Thanks, Penny. My first sports, gymnastics by Annie Rheault, states that gymnastics became a sport for boys before girls. It became a sport for boys at the Olympics in 1896 and for girls in the Olympics in 1928. In most sports, being tall is an advantage. However, small and shorter people usually do better in gymnastics because shorter and lighter people seem to be able to twist and spin their bodies better. According to Galen Context Elementary, when you are doing gymnastics, exercise is important because it can help you stay healthy and fit during your journey through gymnastics. Exercise has always been a part of human life. People get exercise in their daily life by farming, hunting, and doing other physical labor. Wow, I guess people get exercise every day. Gymnastics became a sport in Greece. Greece loved to play sports. That is when they came up with gymnastics. Many people liked gymnastics so much that they taught it in schools. Some did it for fun, some did it to just compete in contests. Greece also held the first Olympics as well. There are 2 main kinds of gymnastics. One is practical. That means it has a purpose. It may make people stronger. It may teach skills. The other one is artistic. That means it is about beauty. People may dance. They may jump and spin. Some gymnasts need certain tools. People may use ropes, sticks, or other platforms. Other gymnasts do not use tools. I didn't know gymnasts needed tools. That's good to know for next time. There is a whole bunch of equipment, but the most common one that everyone knows about is floor. The floor is where you do most stunts and flips. There is also a balance beam, which is 4 inches wide and 4.1 feet off the ground. Uneven parallel bars, vault, and a trampoline. For men, there are some different equipment, such as steel rings, high bar, parmel horses, parallel bars, and horizontal bars. In beginner gymnastics, you will most likely end up doing cartwheel, forward rolls, and backward rolls. This is because you need to learn how to do the simple stuff to learn how to do the harder stuff. For some things, you need to know how to do a backward roll and a round off. Some things might have simple tricks combined into one harder trick. A gymnast competition is called a meet. A meet usually takes place in a gymnasium or a gym. The movements that gymnasts perform is called a routine. The judges rate the gymnasts' routines. They look for excellent technique, but they also consider their routines' difficulty and style. Now, the highest score that a gymnast can receive is a 10. Gymnastics is fun for all ages and abilities and is a great way to exercise. Back to you in the studio.
I could never.
What do you mean?
I'm like the least flexible person on the planet. Jessica!
Oh, sorry, I was saving the turtles.
What?
It's a game. I was saving the turtles.
Speaking of turtles, we have a story about turtles.
Save the turtles. Heading over to you, Penny.
Did you know there are more than 310 different types of turtles? Well, that may seem good, but a lot of them are endangered and close to extinction. Take the box turtle, for example. This turtle is very endangered and by itself dangerous. Now is a great time to mention. Turtles may seem friendly and cute, but if you do not know the species, do not pick it up or even touch it. Box turtles have become illegal to disturb because they are so endangered, while other species are thriving. For example, the loggerhead turtle. According to Google, the loggerhead sea turtle is one of the most common turtles that have been sighted. In the wild, they can live for up to 50 years, while box turtles only live for 25 to 35 years. Of course, some have lived longer. There have been reports saying some have lived to 100, yet that is not average. So basically, some turtles thrive while others suffer. It's the way of the world. Yet we can change that. Simply not using plastic straws, recycling, anything that could possibly help the environment. And just remember, recycling won't just help turtles. It helps almost all water creatures. That includes dolphins, otters, squid, and much more. All right, back to you in the studio.
Now I'm going to go to the beach to save turtles tomorrow.
Me too.
Can I go home now?
Yes, you can go home now.
Hello, I'm Jack.
I'm Aaliyah.
And I'm Amber.
And
this is WMTS News. Today we have Aiden with video games,
Grant with the Boston Celtics,
Angelina with kindness,
Abby with Italy,
Jack with Brock Purdy,
Rosemary with tornadoes,
Aaliyah with September 11th,
Amber with horseback riding,
and lastly, Josh with Jason Tatum.
Speaking of video games, hey Aaliyah, do you know when the first video game was made?
I don't know. I'm sure Ada would know.
Thanks, Aaliyah. According to Gale and Context, the first video games were made in the 1970s. They were very simple back then. Some video games would only show shapes, nothing else. The very first ever action game was called Pong. It was a game like ping pong, hence the name. It just showed a dot moving across the screen for you to hit. If you didn't get to it in time, the opposing team would score. At first you had to go to an arcade to play a video game, and on a computer that could only play one game. Then they started making smaller computers so people could play at home. One of the first computers that people could buy and take home was called the Atari, which was made in 1977. It could play many games. Now I'm going to tell you about the Video Game Hall of Fame. The Video Game Hall of Fame was established on June 4, 2015 by the Strong National Museum of Play. One of the games in it is called Animal Crossing. It was made in 2001 by Nintendo. It was one of many in a series of games. The latest title is New Horizons, which has sold over 31 million copies. Another game is called StarCraft, first available to the public in 1998. It is a combination of science fiction and military strategy game, where people can play in a single-player match against the computer or in a multiplayer match where they can play each other. The goal of the game is to overpower the enemies by destroying their buildings and taking all the resources. Now we're on to the best-selling game in history. It is a game called Minecraft. Minecraft came out on November 8, 2011 and was created by Mojang Studios, Other Ocean Interactive, 4J Studios, and Xbox Game Studios. To win the game, you have to chop down wood to make tools. Then you get to mine resources like diamonds. When you believe you are ready, you go to the end, which is another dimension. Once you get there, you kill the Ender Dragon and congrats, you have completed the game. Now you are free to explore the outer end where you can find Elytra, a tool used to glide through the air. Thank you for listening. Back to you in the studio.
He switched like a free throw.
Speaking of free throws,
Grant is talking about the Boston Celtics.
Thanks, Amber. The Boston Celtics are considered one of the greatest basketball teams of all time. An important era from the team was 1986 to the present day. Players like Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge, Dennis Johnson, ML Carr, and Tiny Ackwald, Joe Klein, and Larry Bird became legends in Beantown. Current-day players like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and Marcus Smart are starting their own legacies, but they have big shoes to fill. Larry Bird and Paul Pierce are two of the best Celtics players ever, in my opinion. They will forever be legends in Boston. I think the current Celtics are one of the best teams in the NBA. They have Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, and Derek White, but they are no longer in first place. They are set to begin the NBA playoffs as one of the favorites to win the championship. Back to you in the studio.
I'm sure the teammates are very kind to one another.
Oh, I know someone who knows a lot about kindness.
Angelina, here she is with kindness.
Thanks, Leah. Kindness can mean many things. It can mean being friendly. It can mean doing good deeds. People want to be kind. Some even form groups that focus on kindness. They want to spread kindness. Some groups help children. Others help older people. Some help pets. Some just do good deeds. While understanding people an important part of kindness, understanding others may help people have good relationships. People with empathy help others feel good. They listen and understand others. Think of two friends. One is sad. The other friend will listens and understands. The sad friend will probably feel better. People who understand others are usually successful. They usually get good grades and have many friends. They often solve problems. People who are usually kind don't bully others. They also help people who are being bullied. People who understand make their community stronger. They can understand all types of people. They can help people work together. They can make stronger groups. One way to understand people is to understand their feelings. People can learn about feelings. They can see how feelings make people look and act. A student happy might smile. A student sad might cry. People can also think about what makes people have feelings. One way is to think about how people feel after certain things. Going to parties might make somebody happy. Getting hurt will probably make a person sad. People can show understanding. They can show this that they care. They can show this through what they do and say. Here's a fun activity. Think about the feelings you had this week. Draw a picture of the feelings. See if people can guess the picture showing. There's even a World Kindness Day. It was on November 13th. It was first held in 1998. Sometimes people are not kind. They can be rude. They can be bullies. They can also say bad things about others. World Kindness Day can change that. People can celebrate in different ways. Some can be nice. Some can be rewarded for good deeds. People Kindness groups can help. You can text a friend, you can text a loved one and say that you miss them and are thinking of them. It's time for you to spread kindness. Back to you in the studio.
I think Italian people are nice too.
Oh yeah, here's Abby with Italy.
Thanks, Amber. Have you ever wanted to travel in Europe? Italy has so many cool facts to learn about. Its capital city of Rome was first settled more than 3,000 years ago. Italy's population is more than 57 million people. The size of Italy is 116,341 square miles and 301,323 square kilometers. The Italian flag has 3 vertical stripes. The stripes are green, white, and red. Green means hope, the white stripe stands for faith, and the red stripe represents help given to people in need. Italy adopted its flag in 1870. Northern and southern Italy have different climates. The north has cold, wet winters. Snow covers the mountains in this region. Summers in the north are hot and dry. In southern Italy, summers are even hotter and drier. Winters in southern Italy are mild and rainy. Most animals in Italy live in few people. Brown bears and hawks make their homes in the mountains. Otters, foxes, and wildcats live in the Apennine Mountains. If you're considering a trip, add Italy to your list. Back to you in the studio.
Wow, Italy's really cool.
I think they have an Italian football team.
Next up, we have Jack with Brock Purdy.
Thanks, Amber. Do you watch football? Well, if you do, you've probably heard the name Brock Purdy. Brock was born December 27, 1999. He grew up in Arizona and went to Perry High School as a quarterback. He was a 3-star recruit and had no offers. Brock ended up playing for Iowa State. He was a 3rd-string quarterback. He finally got playing time when the starting quarterback got injured and the 2nd-string quarterback was struggling. But they put Brock in and he took full advantage of this opportunity. His first game, he threw for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns. It was clear that he would be the future of Iowa State football. The following game, he threw for 250 more yards and 3 touchdowns. He continues to thrive in college. This year, he got drafted to the San Francisco 49ers. He brought them all the way to the playoffs with a 13-4 record. It was the wild card round when the San Francisco 49ers won 41-23 against the Seahawks. Next week, they play the Dallas Cowboys in the quarterfinals. They beat them 19-12. In the semifinals, they went up against the very tough Eagles with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. They lost to the Eagles 31-7. Hopefully Brock can win a Super Bowl next year with this team, the 49ers. Back to you in the studio.
Well, that was cool. Let's move on.
We have Rosemary tornadoes.
Thanks, Jack. Did you know that a tornado is a violent rotating cloud of air that can go over 200 miles per hour? The tornado is one of the most dangerous storms. Many characteristics of a tornado are the same. First, did you know there are different colors of a tornado? They could be white, gray, black, blue, red, and even green. Most tornadoes spin counterclockwise. They are shaped like a narrow tube that goes down from the clouds that goes from the ground. The winds of a tornado can vary from 65 to 250 miles per hour. The tornado can break apart buildings, knock down trees, and even toss cars in the air. The strength of a tornado can determine the danger of the storm. Most people get hurt or die from flying debris. As you can see, the tornado is a dangerous and powerful storm. They can cause a lot of damage. Hopefully the numbers of a tornado goes down in the U.S. Back to you in the studio.
That's cool.
Up next, we have Aaliyah with 9/11.
Thanks, Jack. 9/11 was a very devastating day for many people around the world. This day changed many everyday lives. Many people died on this unfortunate morning. Nearly 3,000 people died, as well as more than 350 firefighters, paramedics, and police died while trying to save the people in the Twin Towers. There were 4 jets that got hijacked, 2 of which hit the Twin Towers in New York City. 1 hit the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., which resulted in about 200 deaths. The last jet hit a field in Pennsylvania and killed all 40 passengers on board. These hijackings were an act of terrorism. Terrorism is an act of violence when you do not agree with someone politically. The organization that did these horrible crimes is called Al-Qaeda. The leader of this man is a group named Osama bin Laden. The president at the time, George W. Bush, wanted to get them punished. Groups like this attacked twice in Europe. Madrid, Spain was bombed in 2004. London, England was attacked in 2005. These acts of terror continued. In 2009, a U.S. soldier opened fire against another U.S. soldier before their deployment to Afghanistan. He killed 12 soldiers and 1 civilian. In 2013, 2 pressure cooker bombs exploded at the Boston Marathon, killing 3 people and injuring 264 others. A pressure cooker bomb is a pressure cooker full of stuff like metal, nails, or explosives. Every year, people remember 9/11 on September 11th in memory of this horrible disaster. This is an event that will never be forgotten. Back to you in the studio.
That was a sad day.
Yeah, we should probably move on to the next story.
Here's Amber with horseback riding.
Thanks, Leah. Horseback riding is a very hard sport to learn. For example, when you trot, which is like a jog to horses, you have to post, which is when you have to stand up in the saddle and go back in the saddle continuously. That takes up a lot of leg muscle if you are doing it for a while. Grooming is an important job of any horseback rider. Grooming is very good for horses and ponies for a lot of different reasons. It cleans the horse and keeps their body healthy more than almost anything else. The horse or pony will stand while being groomed. You are probably wondering, how do you groom them? Well, there are some special brushes that you use while grooming. There is an order that the grooming comes in. The rubber curly comb comes first, the soft brush comes second, the hard brush comes in third, then the hoof picker, which takes all the gunk out of the horse before you ride. Then the last but not least, the actual brush or comb to brush the horse's mane and the horse's furlock. If you are learning to ride, you should probably go to a good school for it. If you don't, you will not have a good education on the subject. So I would go to a place that has patience. In other words, go to a place where they go at your pace. Once you learn the basics, you can go to regular lessons to learn more about riding. The last step is tacking up the horses or ponies. Personally, tacking up is my favorite part of horseback riding. Tacking up is when you put on your numna, saddle pad, as well as the saddle. Once you learn the basics, it's time to ride. Back to you in the studio.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was.
Anyways, here's Josh with Jason Tatum.
Thanks, Amber. Hey, are you a basketball fan? If you are, you've probably heard of the Boston Celtics. Well, if you haven't, the Boston Celtics is an NBA team. My favorite player on the Boston Celtics is Jason Tatum. He was born on March 3rd, 1998 in St. Louis, Missouri. He started playing when he was 10 years old. His idol is Kobe Bryant. Jason attended college at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. Jason participated in the 2017 draft pick and was drafted a first-round pick for the Boston Celtics. He is one of their most valuable players. Soon, Jason Tatum would be playing with Jaylen Brown and creating an unstoppable duo. Jason Tatum is a 2-time All-Star and a big threat to every team's defense. Jason is one of the first players to score 20 points in a playoff game as a rookie. Jason won Rookie of the Year as a rising star. Jason averages 30.1 points a game and 9.0 rebounds. Jason has only been in the league for 6 years and is already making names for himself. The Celtics are set to another run at the NBA championship. Good luck to Jason and his teammates. Back to you in the studio.
I hope you enjoyed watching WMTS. See you later.
Hey everyone, let's tell you who we are. My name's Kaylee. And I'm Olive. And welcome to WRBA News. Today we have Isaiah with Jason Tatum, Savian with Cristiano Ronaldo, Charlotte with Simone Biles, Kaylee with the Titanic, Olive with the Hindenburg disaster, Gemma with diabetes, Sadie with basketball, last but not least, Evelyn with the moon. Olive, do you know Jason Tatum is one of the best players in the NBA today? Who is that? Really, Olive? I need someone to tell me. Well, Isaiah could tell you.
Thanks, Kaylee. Did you know that Jason Tatum's currently one of the best NBA players? He plays for the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum was born in St. Louis, Missouri on March 3rd, 1998. Growing up, he was poor. His life was hard. For example, his mom struggled to pay for the house they lived in. Even though his life was hard, Tatum always wanted to be an NBA player since first grade. As a 5th grader, he shocked adults by scoring 25 points per game. Brandy calls his mom. She was a single mom and had Jason at the age of 19. She was a young mom. Even though she was young, she had high expectations. His mom went to law school because she wanted to become a lawyer. Brandy was a great role model to Tatum. Later, Tatum would be on ESPN as one of the best players in the country. Jason Tatum's jersey number is 0. Jason Tatum has been playing for the Boston Celtics for 6 seasons. He has averaged 22.3 points, 7.0 rebounds, and 3.3 assists in 429 regular season games. Jason Tatum joined the Boston Celtics because in 2017, he got drafted with the 3rd overall pick. Jason Tatum got 40 points 19 times. He's a 4-time NBA All-Star and a 2-time All-NBA selection. He also won a gold medal in the 2020 U.S. Olympic team in Tokyo. Jason Tatum missed 8 games due to a foot injury on December 3rd, 2016 in his Duke debut. In 2023, Jason Tatum shot a 3-pointer, got the game winner against the Philadelphia 76ers. In the 2023 All-Star game, Jason Tatum got 53 points,
and beat the record. His teammates in the All-Star game were John Morant, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Domantas Sabonis, and Donovan Mitchell. Jason Tatum's team had won the 2023 All-Star game. Team Giannis won because their target score was to get 163 points in all. Back to you in the studio.
Wow, maybe I'll watch the next Celtics game.
Yeah, you should.
Kaylee, what are you doing? We're filming right now.
I got bored, I'm sorry.
Well, what are you doing that's so important?
A soccer game? But it has a really good character.
Who is it?
His name is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, I've heard of him, but I know nothing about him.
Same.
I heard we have Sabine who's talking about him right now.
Thanks, Olive. Cristiano Ronaldo is a professional soccer player who plays for a team in Saudi Arabia named Al Nassr. Ronaldo is 38 years old and stands at 6 feet 2 inches and plays striker. Ronaldo has 5 Ballon d'Ors, a European Champions Trophy, 5 UFC trophies, 5 Champions League trophies, 3 Player of the Year trophies, and a Serie A Cup. He was born on February 5th, 1985 on a small island called Madeira, located in Portugal. Cristiano's full name is Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro. Ronaldo isn't even his real last name, it's just the middle name his father gave him. Ronaldo didn't even go to school when he was a kid. He had way more time than other kids to practice. When Ronaldo was 10, his first club was Club Football Andorina. Within 2 years, Ronaldo was playing for the biggest soccer club in Madeira. When Ronaldo turned age 15, it was hard for him. He moved to Lisbon, another city in Portugal, without his family. He trained with youth professional soccer players for a team called Sporting. According to Soccer Stars, Cristiano was the youngest player to make the under-16 Sporting CP Football Club. When he turned 17, he joined the Sporting CP Football Club and played 31 matches and scored 5 goals. Then in 2003, he moved to England to play for a team named Manchester United and had an amazing season. Ronaldo's father died during a World Cup match. By 2009, he went to Spain to play for Real Madrid, his mother's favorite team. According to Sports Learner, Ronaldo signed for Real Madrid for $17 million. Ronaldo scored 500-plus goals for Real Madrid by 2018. In 2019, he went to Juventus in Italy and played for 2 seasons, and Ronaldo scored a total of 81 goals for Juventus and 16 assists. Ronaldo moved to England again and played for Manchester United. He played for 1 season and scored 14 goals. Now Ronaldo's in Saudi Arabia and playing for Al Nassr. Ronaldo signed to Al Nassr for $215 million to join their team. In Ronaldo's career, he has over 825-plus goals today and is all-time scoring leader of soccer. Ronaldo is one of the goats of sports, and he is a very well-known player all over the world. Ronaldo's rival is Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is 5'7" inches. There's a big difference between Messi and Ronaldo. Messi and Ronaldo are now really good friends, but also fierce rivals. When I get older, I want to play just like Ronaldo. I train a lot so I can be really good. Back to you in the studio.
That's so cool. I'm surprised that Ronaldo and Messi are friends.
Yeah, I thought they hated each other.
Do you want to hear a joke?
Sure.
What's the gymnast's favorite season?
I don't know, what?
Somersault.
Why are we talking about gymnastics?
Because our next member will be talking about one of the best gymnasts in history.
Let me guess, Simone Biles.
Correct. And guess what?
What?
Charlotte has a story about it right now. Kaylee, I'm waiting.
Waiting for what?
Never mind, I'll do it. Take it away, Charlotte.
Thanks, Olive. Simone Biles is a famous person that was in the Olympics. She does gymnastics. In my opinion, she's the best gymnast in the world. Simone Biles was born on March 14th, 1997 in Columbus, Ohio. When she was 6 years old, Simone went on a field trip to gymnastics studio. She loved it. She started taking classes at the studio for the next 11 years with the same coach. Simone can do lots of gymnastics flips. She can do back, tuck, half twist at the end of the beam. Simone can do her full tuck on the floor. Once she started the Olympics in 2016, Simone Biles was the most popular gymnastics person. Did you know that Simone Biles was the first person to land the Yukinichio double pike in her first competition? She's able to do tricks that no one can do. Simone Biles retired her competitions at the age of 25. She gave school supplies to charity for kids who are in foster care. The reason she wants to help these kids is because she was in foster care too. Simone wants to inspire kids for foster care to never give up. As you can see, Simone is famous for her accomplishments in gymnastics and for the work she's doing now to help foster kids. That's the story about Simone Biles. Back to you in the studio.
I was literally devastated when she retired.
How did she even do this stuff? I'm not flexible at all.
I am.
Yeah, right.
I'm not lying.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
Fine. You aren't lying. What are you thinking about now?
The book I just read.
What's the book?
The Titanic.
Oh, yeah. I remember when you were reading that in class.
So, are you not going to say let's hand over to Kaylee, or?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Let's hand over to Kaylee with the Titanic. Thanks, Olive. The Titanic was a huge boat. They first started building the boat on March 31st, 1909. Then on March 31st, 1912, the Titanic was completed. They took off from Southampton, England, heading to New York City. They were very confident for this trip because the builders have stated this boat will be unsinkable. The boat was almost 833 feet long and 94 feet wide. The boat was going 26 miles per hour at the time. The Titanic offered everything from gymnasiums to cafes. This boat was a luxury at the time. Passengers paid up to $4,350 per ticket for the Titanic. Hundreds of people also took the cheap third-class room at the bottom of the ship. On the night of April 14th, everyone was sound asleep, not worried about anything because apparently the ship was unsinkable. All of a sudden, radio operators heard several messages warning of ice field ahead. People watching stared into the dark looking for icebergs. No one saw anything. They were getting worried. As the Titanic neared the iceberg, the captain sounded the alarm. The boat swerved to one side, but the iceberg was too close. At 11:40 p.m., it scraped along the ship's starboard side. The force of the iceboard broke the metal. Water rushed into the boat. The collision surprised the passengers, but they still had hope. Those still awake heard the iceberg grinding along the ship. There were only 20 lifeboats left. Altogether, they fitted 1,170 passengers, including crew members. That was only half of the people aboard. They began to choose the passengers for the lifeboat based on the rule women and children first. By 2:15, all the lifeboats had launched. Many people stayed stranded on the boat because they thought the lifeboats were dangerous. Unfortunately, over 1,500 people lost their lives that night. That day will never be forgotten. Back to you in the studio. I might as well cancel my cruise trip.
Please, the chances of the boat sinking is like 20%.
But it's not zero.
In that case, have fun on your trip.
Haha, very funny, Kaylee.
Oh, I know where you could go.
Ugh, where?
To Germany.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm serious, Sarah. They have great food.
Did you know there's a horrible accident in Germany?
Nope, never heard of it.
Really, Kaylee? You have one job.
Oh, here's all for the Hindenburg disaster.
Thanks, Kaylee. On May 6, 1937, one of the worst catastrophes ever happened. The Hindenburg was a Zeppelin, which is an airship. It was the biggest one ever built, but one day it burst into flames. The Hindenburg was the nicest airship to ever fly in the sky. It was 804 feet long. Its cruising speed was 84 miles per hour. The Hindenburg cost $2.6 million. The name Zeppelin comes from the guy who invented them, Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin. The first Zeppelin took flight in 1900. They were used for many reasons: travel, spying, and even dropping bombs on enemies' locations. In 1929, the Graf Zeppelin traveled all the way around the world. Now to get to the bad news. The Hindenburg burst into flames during flight. It's believed that this disaster happened because of a spark of static electricity ignited the hydrogen gas. There were 36 passengers and 61 crew members. Only 62 people survived. Everybody was terrified, the people in the airship and the people watching it burn to the ground. The Hindenburg was made out of paper, so the fire easily spread. It was a rigid ship and was an oval shape. One reporter named Herbert Morrison was there when the Hindenburg lit on fire. He stopped in the middle of his report. A famous line Morrison said was, "Oh, the humanity." He said that he had to sign off because it was such a catastrophe. Many people died, and the Hindenburg disaster should never be forgotten. Back to you in the studio.
Did I do good?
Actually, I know I did good.
Okay, sure.
Kaylee, I have a serious question.
What is it?
How long does diabetes last?
I don't know, but Gemma could teach you.
Thanks, Kaylee. Diabetes is a lifelong disease where your pancreas develops little to no insulin. There are two different types of diabetes: diabetes type 1, also known as juvenile diabetes, and diabetes type 2, also known as adult onset diabetes. There's a whole research foundation on diabetes called Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, also known as JDRF. Having diabetes comes with some dietary restrictions. Children with diabetes should only have about 25 grams of sugar per day. An adult with diabetes should only have 45 to 60 grams of sugar per day. Having a healthy diet as a person with diabetes is very important. If a person with diabetes has too much sugar, it's bad for them. It's also bad for them when they have too little sugar. When a person with diabetes has too little sugar and their glucose levels drop, this is called hypoglycemia. When a person with diabetes has hypoglycemia, they tend to have trouble seeing clearly, being shaky, sweaty, confused, behave strangely, and may even pass out. Someone who is hypoglycemic needs sugar right away. Fruit juice, soda, or candy will do amazing. When someone has high blood sugar as a person with diabetes, they will feel very tired and hungry. Some symptoms of hyperglycemia are increased thirst, feeling extremely hungry, headache, and blurred vision. If you're ever experiencing these type of symptoms, it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor. Back to you in the studio.
It's unfortunate that diabetes is lifelong.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it ended at some point.
Yeah.
I just remembered the big game is on tonight.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll watch it. It's a basketball game, right?
Yeah, basketball looks really fun.
It requires a lot of skill.
Maybe I should try it.
Stick to gymnastics.
Thanks, Olive.
Well, Sadie will tell you how hard it really is.
Thanks, Olive. Did you know that the first basketball hoop was a basket and the ball that they used was a soccer ball? The person who invented basketball was James Naismith. He was a teacher, coach, and inventor. He was born on November 6, 1861 and died November 28, 1939. Basketball was invented in 1891. Naismith wanted to invent a game his students could play indoors to get rid of some energy. So he put some baskets on the wall and had them use a soccer ball to shoot. He came up with no running with the ball rule to avoid injuries since the soccer ball was too heavy. Here are some rules of basketball and how they have changed over the years. In 1894, there were 9 players on a side. Then in 1897, the rules said there should be 5 players on a side, and it's been like that ever since. In 1895, they came up with a rule that changed the score from 3 points to 2 for a basket and 3 points to 1 for a foul. Another rule is that the players cannot run with the ball. There is also no pushing or tripping. Lastly, if you get too many fouls, you are out. It's crazy how a lot of the rules haven't changed for 132 years. In my opinion, basketball is the best sport. I bet it'll be around for a long time. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, you were right. I should stick to gymnastics.
I know, I'm always right.
Sure.
Guess what, Kaylee?
What?
Our last story is coming up.
Come on, I was just starting to enjoy this.
Well, at least it's a good story.
What story is it?
It's Evelyn with the Moon.
Would you like to do the honors?
Sure.
Okay.
Last but not least, Evelyn with the Moon.
Thanks, Olive. I'm sure you all heard of Apollo's and Remembrance mission to land on the moon, but do you know the beliefs of the moon itself? One belief about the moon is that it brought powers of witches and sorceresses every time the moon revealed itself from the blue or black silk we call the night sky. They are all wrong because it's an ancient practice for a priestess of which will descend with their arms facing toward the moon and having its energy channeled to their bodies. This is how the expression drawing from the moon was created. It was back in the 1450s to the 1750s when people thought that women were witches, when in reality, they were misunderstanding their true intentions. This is the reason why many women got tortured during this time period. There is one example of the unfair treatment women had to face during the centuries of our lives. Another belief about the moon is that it's most associated with womanhood, believe it or not. The moon itself had become the ultimate symbol of femininity. According to bestsymbol.com, the energy coming off the moon is known to be connected to emotions, intuition, subconsciousness, and instincts as well. Now, let's go over its history. The origin of the moon, according to NASA.gov, the leading theory of the origin for the moon is that a body of the size of Mars collided with the Earth approximately 4.5 billion years ago, and the result of the debris from both the impactor and the Earth that created the moon. Whether or not this is truly what or how the moon was created is the best theory out there so far. Do you know there are times where a certain month doesn't have full moon at all every time you use solar cycle during lunar phases? Crazy, right? What is that month, you may ask? Well, it's February. Since the cycle takes about 29.5 days to go around the Earth, there are chances of no full moon at all in February if it's not a leap year. For those wondering what's the next time without a full moon then, look out to the night and hope it's clear skies on the February of 2037, so mark your calendars. Here's 2 random facts about the moon to store in the back of your mind. In case you ever wonder about whether or not we can survive without the moon, the answer is yes. Though surprising, it's entirely possible we can survive in its absence, although it would look different without it. Another random fact is that the planet that helped create the moon that crashed into the Earth that was mentioned earlier was named Theia. There's much more information about the moon's history and its beliefs, but that's all there is, folks, and I hope you are looking out in the clear skies in February of the year 2037 to look for the missing moon. Back to you in the
That was really interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I hope you enjoyed us and the stories. We hope you have a good day. WRBA out.